Hello everyone. Welcome to my Source 2 Filmmaker tutorial on how to export Half Life Alyx assets straight from Source 2 so that you can use the models or materials however way you want them. For example, if you want to use them outside of Source 2 like in Blender, or you want to port the assets to Source 1 Filmmaker. Or even if you want to edit the assets and want to re-import the assets back to Source 2. So if you are wondering how to do that, then you have came to the right place. So now let's get started with the tutorial. Alright, so as you can tell, I am on the Source 2 model dock with this Half Life Alyx door model that I am unable to edit or do anything with it. I will use this model for the tutorial. So first let's start with the more simple part, which is exporting the model itself. So here I go to File. Scroll down. Then select Export As. Then I just need to choose the file and export it as an FBX. It's as easy as that to export the model. So when it finishes decompiling, open Blender and import the model to. Oh well, never mind, then you can't use FBXs from Source 2. Just kidding, you need to convert this ASCII type FBX into a regular FBX. We can just use an online converter for that. I'll leave the link in the description. So now import the FBX to Blender and it should work. So here is the door in Blender in all its glory. Whoa! Now normally you would just export this out, but the reason why I chose to do a door is, well, I find doors rather risky to use, as sometimes they may not fit where you want to use them, so in that case I recommend adding sliders to the door. So as you can see, I made a slider for the door to be taller and another slider to make it wider. This will help a lot, trust me. Now, also when adding the sliders, make sure you keep the position of the door the same so that the corner of the door is always at 0, 0, 0. That way if you do use the sliders, then the door won't rotate awkwardly and will rotate in the correct way as a door should rotate. Now let's export this model. Now we have to export as a DMX for the sliders to work, however it is a general rule to only really use DMXs for your models in general, as they are the most reliable file type for the models. So if you have seen my first tutorial, then please avoid what I did there, which was exporting my models as a SMD. I have also had some problems with my models because of the SMDs, I think. So now when you choose the options for binary 9 and module 22 and the file path you want, you are ready to export. So if exported into your add-ons folder for Source 2, then you can import the model into the model dock like this. So as you can see, compared to before, I do stuff now. So now the model is ported, let's now get into exporting the textures. So this part is simple but a little more complicated, as we need to install something called VRF. I'll leave a link to the description for it. So here we are in VRF. Now we need to find the material we want to export. BTW, if you have no idea which texture your asset used, then just go to the model dock for your asset and look and check the material there. To do this, we head over to the assets browser in Source 2, and over here where it says game file, we click and drag so it shows us which VPK it's in. Then we can also take a look at the file path inside the VPK here, so we know exactly where to find this texture. So in my case it's in VPK01 and it's under Materials, Model, Architecture, Doors _1, and then finally I just have to find the texture I'm looking for. You can see the name in the model dock if you are confused. So when you click the texture, a tab will appear on VRF showing a dark version of said texture. Right click the tab at the top and choose Export and Decompile to get the PNG and texture maps for it. You can also export as to get the regular VMAT if you don't need to edit the texture itself or want to use it in Source 2. Anyway, so the texture will go to the file you want and you're free to edit it or do anything with it. Now going back to Source 2, make sure to apply morph support if you added sliders to the model like what I did with my door. With that said, that's the end of the tutorial. I hope that you found the tutorial useful, and if you did, then please do consider subscribing to my channel for more Source 2 tutorials like this one, or for Source 2 Filmmaker animations. So I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.